Well, tension is growing between the DRC and Rwanda as M23 rebels gain ground in eastern DRC. Tension has escalated in the last month after the group launched a new offensive in North Kivu province, a move that's prompted Congolese authorities to expel the Rwandan ambassador in just the last few days. Kinshasa has also accused neighbouring Rwanda of supporting the M23 movement, an accusation that Kigali has repeatedly denied. Let's talk about this with Dr. Yvan Yenda Ilunga, who's an assistant professor of political science and international relations at Regina University in the US. He's also a deputy director of the Joint Civil-Military Interaction Network. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Grateful for your time. We'll talk to the diplomatic dimension between Rwanda and the DRC in a moment, but first, help us put in context what is behind, in fact, this recent surge in the M23 offensive in the DRC.
Well, thank you so much, Bekele, and it's good to be here. And I think that's an important question to put things into context. Since the M23 first is not a new group, it has been there and defeated in 2013, and again it just came back strong recently with, of course, support from different countries. Some of the claims that this group is making is that the DRC government didn't honor its commitment, more specifically that's of reintegration of some former rebel groups into either the DRC army or the DRC political machinery. And of course, these are people who have been sanctioned from different international entities for acts of violence and criminal activities that they committed against the Congolese people for the past few years. So this is somehow one of the claims, and of course the frustrations that pushed outsiders, including countries in the region, to support the M23 on the claim of ethnic identity or xenophobic words and languages that apparently is coming from the DRC, but of course which have been proven to not be right.
At its formation about a decade ago, the M23 rebels basically said they were acting to protect the interests of the Tutsi people and avenge crimes committed against them by the Hutus specifically. That's what they were saying back then. Now, is that the link to Rwanda?
Well, of course, there is an ongoing diplomatic narrative from Rwanda, either at the United Nations or any other regional, even national spaces, where they argue that one of their biggest concerns is to protect the Rwandophone from xenophobic statement and hate crime against the Tutsi coming from the DRC. But of course, that is not, my understanding is that is not a very much a valid claim, because the DRC government or the DRC as a community is a multicultural community with people from many backgrounds. So why would that be a specific target at this point? And I guess one of the elements to bring there is that there is a huge economic incentive from Rwanda and other regional as well as international actors who would definitely benefit from instability in that particular region on or using the claims of identity as the rationale of the intervention.
But in terms of Rwanda, it's not the first time that Rwanda has been accused of interference or even sponsoring the M23 rebel group. Rwanda has repeatedly denied that, including on a recent visit by the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. So how credible is this alleged link? Because so far they just keep saying we are not in support of the M23 rebel movement.
Well, I personally would like to say it is probably time for us to move from the words alleged or allegation to some reality. But again, there are many reports that are being released either by the UN, including by regional intelligence agencies that prove that, again, if we have just to push a little bit back and go to certain fact, the M23 still at the moment controlling border region, which is Bunagana, which is at the border with Uganda, of course, as well with other territories which are very much close to Rwanda in terms of sharing territories. So the question that one would ask is where, for instance, are they getting their ammunition from? Where are they getting the supply, logistic supply, and all this type of human resources and human intelligence? Where are they getting this equipment? So if we claim to live in a world where people have to be right and true, we just have to be also logical. Let's ask these fundamental questions. Where are they getting their petrol gas from for their cars and all those kind of things? So which communication network are they using to coordinate the operations? Of course, these are coming from regions because the supply has to cross border. So these are some realities that we need to be upfront with and consider if we really aim to address this insecurity and violence in the region.
Two quick final questions. The M23 group, or the fighters, are advancing towards North Kivu, or they're regaining or taking over swathes of territory there, now edging closer to the capital, Goma. Should Goma fall, what would be the implication of that for the DRC government and the broader conflict? And B, what about the humanitarian crisis? Because in the last few months alone, we're reading that about 40,000 people have become displaced, over and above a previous number of about 200,000 or so.
Yeah, great. I think starting with the first question. It's my hope, and that of many observers, and including Congolese people, including people from Rwanda, to do not see Goma being destabilized. Because the assumption is that this is something that will only, or is only affecting people in the DRC. Yes, people in the DRC are the primary victims of this unjustified violence and conflict. But having Goma being destabilized, even the current regions being destabilized, it's basically an announcement for a very long-term instability, which will be a cross-border instability. So no one will win from this ongoing violence. And again, I think the push or the advancement of M23 is only complicating everything from the people who are backing them as well as from the DRC government. So going to the second question on humanitarian crisis, I'm glad this question comes in because we need to put the human face into this crisis. We are seeing kids being displaced. These are our sons, brothers, sisters being displaced, being killed. And it's affecting their schooling, it's affecting their health, it's affecting their hope. So people are living in a very traumatic situation. And we should not just count on the U.S. or the UN and or assuming that this is just a political conversation. This is a security conversation. It's a human conversation. The humanitarian crisis should be the number one priority at this point. If we really want to bring back hope in the region, which I still believe that one of these days peace will be recovered.
Dr. Yenda Ilunga, good to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time.